Sunday evening. How are we doing? I'm joined today by Jay. Jay, have you had a good weekend?
Hello, Matt. Yeah, I have. I have. It's been good.
Have you been up to anything
Um,
exciting hobby-wise?
hobby-wise, I have been doing some hobby, but you'll have to wait for a while longer yet before I can talk to you about it.
Ooh, what a
Uh,
tease.
aside from that, I've been finishing off my Breath of the Wild save game,
Breath of the
which
Wild.
I loaded my last save and it was from 2020.
Is that how long ago it was?
I think it. I
Wow.
mean, I played it for a long time, never completed it, although I have completed it this weekend. So
Because the Switch is quite old now, isn't it?
yeah, I want to say it's like 4 or 5 years old now.
4 or 5 years old. That's
Probably
mental.
older than that actually. My thingy of time is not very good.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So what are you painting today, Jay?
So I'm back on Lord Kroak today. There's still a long way to go on this guy. Luckily, I've got a long time to go before the new lizard men arrive, so hopefully he'll be painted by then.
Yeah.
But he's a model I don't want to rush, to be fair, because it's a really, really nice model, so it deserves a bit of a nice
Yeah,
paint job.
that
And I think
makes
sometimes
sense.
as well, when you just sort of, there's no deadline to paint a model up, you can just enjoy painting rather than trying to rush through to get it finished.
Yeah, that's what I found with. So today I'm carrying on with my High Fleet Behemoth Tyranids, all made with second edition models. Oh, we've got Anonymous Rex in the chat. How are we doing, Anonymous Rex? Yeah, so same situation here where we paint so much stuff for reviews and stuff where we've got to get it done like within a certain time, haven't we, for a certain day,
Yeah.
and obviously you sometimes have to cut corners or just kind of get a bit of a rapid job on it. Where for these guys, there's no rush, there's no tournament. I'd like to take them to a tournament, but there's nothing booked at the minute. So it's just been a nice situation where I can just like enjoy painting them. And I guess you're similar with those because it's what, summer for the new
Yeah, exactly.
Lizard Men to come out, Seraphon, sorry. Yeah,
They'll always be lizardmen to me.
it's like the Imperial Guard
Yeah.
or the Astra Militarum, as Dave loves to call them. Yeah, they're always the guard to me. So yeah, other than that, this weekend, I was teaching my girlfriend Stacey how to play Age of Sigmar. So that was good fun. She's got a Sylvaneth army. You'll be very
Yeah,
pleased
good
to know,
tasting,
Jay.
good tasting
Yeah,
models. You've not
thought that.
corrupted it to chaos then.
No, I've not, which is shocking. I was using the Head Knights of Slanesh in our game, and she battered me.
There's a bit
So
of a rivalry between the Sylvaneth and the Slanesh. I'm pretty sure I've defeated your Slanesh army as well with my
you
Sylvaneth.
have, yeah. That's possibly been on a battle report somewhere on the YouTube somewhere as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good battle. Yeah, so we're doing that, and then I've not been able to do much hobby outside of that really. Been working on a few review things. Did a write up of Stormbringer magazine, the new part work from Hachette part work. So similar to the Mortal Realms magazine that they previously did, every week another issue comes out with miniatures and paints and stuff. And over the run of the magazine, I think it'd cost you about 700 and something pounds if you bought every issue on subscription. But I think there's about £1,400 worth of stuff that you get.
It's
So
crazy. I was
it,
looking through. I can't believe how much like the dragons and oh man.
yeah, and this is one of the things with it, isn't it? If you are wanting to get those models, all of the models, then it's definitely worth getting a subscription. If you wanted like 75% of it, I'd say it's still worth it. And you know, flog what you
I,
don't want on eBay or something, or give it to friends.
yeah, I guess something like the dragon that's going to be over a couple of editions, is it, rather than
So
it
so
all
the
in one
so
mag?
so the dragon is part of the premium subscription, so you'll get that in a single box
Oh right,
on
okay,
like issue 14. So
right.
yeah, no, you get it all in one go, which is cool. Stuff like the Stormdrake card will probably be over a couple of issues with it. They normally have, I don't know, one frame in one issue, one frame in another issue in the base, and a third one, which is normally
Cool.
how they do
Oh, we've
it.
got a first time chat in the Twitch there. Red Wing 13. What's up? Hello. Thanks for
Hello.
joining us today.
Yeah, what you up to, Red Wing 13? Have you been up to anything fun? What are you working on hobby-wise? And in fact, if anyone else is watching along, give us a shout in the chat, either on YouTube or on Twitch. We're simultaneously streaming to both. We'd love to know what you've been working on this weekend. And yeah, what your hobby plans are. But it's been a fairly chilled day. It's quite
So,
nice painting something that, like you say, isn't needed for a tournament or a review or something.
oh, you're gonna like what Red Wing's up to.
Oh, what's he up to?
Just building some Krieg.
Oh, amazing! The Deathcore Krieg. That's my man. The best Astra Militarum regiment. That's really cool.
Anonymous Rex says he thinks there may be a mag exclusive model they have not previewed yet.
For Stormbringer magazine, yes, there is. There is an exclusive Praetor leader. So
Is this the female one? That's
yep, that kind
yeah,
of leads the Praetor squad. And you like the Praetor models, don't you?
I do. And I was looking at. Do you know when you see a model and you think, oh, that model's good enough to make me want to just build a small army of that kind of model? And I did see it, and I did think that. I'm like,
Have you been tempted by the magazine then, Jay?
I have been tempted by the magazine. The only thing that puts me off the magazine at the moment is that I'm conscious with because it you sort of drip feds, like not the right word, but it's the only thing I can think of. Drip fed the models. I think that I like to get my kits and build them, and I'll just be a bit impatient. So
Yeah.
that's why I've not done it. But and also, I mean, I'm focused on me lizards for Age of Sigmar, so I don't need another army really. But
Yeah.
it is a nice model.
Well, you never know. It's there could be some spare ones of that on eBay. I mean, they'll probably go for silly money. But what you
Yeah,
could do is just buy that particular issue if you wanted the
that
exclusive
yeah,
model.
that's a good
Um,
call.
Forbidden Planet, I believe, do pre-orders of the first 10 issues so far, and I feel she may be in the first. She might be issue 5.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you head over there, you can order that particular issue, and then there's lots of ways to keep cheap Stormcast, aren't there?
Oh, Red Wing has impulse bought a whole Krieg army apparently.
Impulse bought a Krieg army. I'm impressed.
I'm assuming this is the plastics that you get from Kill Team, not the Forge World Krieg or a Forge World Krieg. Can you still buy them?
You can buy them. So I believe you can still get the Resin Infantry squads as well because they've got different poses. I really hope that Red Wing has picked up a full Forge World Deathcore Krieg army because that would be really cool.
It
I'm
would
a
be
bad
cool.
influence.
So you played your first game against your girlfriend today, the Sylvaneth. So she's, if I understand it right, you sort of turned it towards Age of Sigmar only very recently, and then in this short span of time, she's built an entire Sylvaneth army, painted a Sylvaneth Underworld's kill team, and then beat you at a game of Age of Sigmar.
That is the gist of it, yeah. And she's done a really good job on her Sylvaneth as well.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of the Underworld warband, and it is really. I mean, Sylvaneth, they're a really nice army to paint, I think, because it's quite a simple sort of color scheme, but there's lots of cool sort of textures and things to really like practice your techniques on. And she's like the skin as well, the glow effect on the skin, a sort of natural looking bark effect, the magical weapons, and yeah, they look really good. She's done a really good job.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. So hopefully she'll enjoy the game. She's played the game so far, has enjoyed that and beat me. So yeah, we'll see. So we've potentially got a another contender here for filling a team tournament slot, Jay.
Yeah,
Carrying the team.
I was gonna say, yeah, she'll soon tire. We'll be like holding her back.
Yeah. Ooh, Red Wing. Yeah, you can. I have a mix of them. Nice. So plastics and the resins. That's cool. I fancy bringing my Deathcore up to date with the new Astra Militarum Codex. Because there's stuff like the Rough Riders, which are up for pre-order yesterday, I want to say. We very kindly sent a review copy. I know Dave's been working on those. He sadly can't join us on the stream today. And he loves the models. He originally wasn't too convinced on them. Was like, oh no, Matt, you can use them for your Deathcore Krieg. And coincidentally, Red Wing, the bodies and the heads are all separate pieces. on the Rough Riders, so I think it'd be very, very easy to use the plastic Krieg kit and convert them into Death Riders, because you could just put the torso and the mask of your Krieg troopers on them. I haven't tried it, but looking at the sprues, I think that's going to be rather easy to do, which is cool. They've obviously thought about that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Likewise, most of the other the characters that are in that wave as well have got different separate heads and stuff, so you can probably swap in something that fits your regiment, which is nice. So yeah, so Dave's done that. We late Friday, our copy of Soul Shackle came. That Games Workshop very kindly sent us. So unfortunately, we've not been able to get a review up by the time it's in stores. Some of you may already have that in your hands now, but what I am going to plan on doing is building up and painting all the stuff from that, and then we want to do some kill team and boarding action battle reports as well, Jay, don't we?
Yeah, well, yeah, we do. I'd really like to get Dave to sort of fit in some boarding action into the Crusade he's running.
That'd be fun. That'd be really cool. Just gonna give a shout out to an awesome username, Big Bacon Sarni, who's just started following us on Twitch. How you doing? And Steve Harbour on YouTube saying evening all. How you doing, Steve? What are you up
Hi,
to
Steve.
tonight? Any hobby antics that you're doing? And Big Bacon Sarni, what are you painting? I'd love to know. Yeah, I think a boarding action. So I guess a bit of context first. We filmed. I don't even know what day because all the days are blurring together, Jay. But we filmed the first part of Dave's Crusade. I guess pack. He's written a whole event pack for it, hasn't he?
The battle
And
for Neville Secundus.
yeah, and a bit of a branching storyline basing on what's happening. I do feel, I do feel the deck seems slightly stacked against the leagues of Otan, Jay.
I think Dave's got a grudge against the Grudge Masters.
He must do. He must do because yeah, game one he's like, yeah, so you'll probably lose this one, Jay, because my entire army like regenerated itself, and I think Dave was rightly concerned that the Votan had probably run rings around the demons, but yeah, with the regenerating mechanic, I don't think you had a chance, did you? But that's part of the
I had a.
story, isn't it? An endless swarm of demons in mission one. I think later battles
It
might be a bit
wasn't.
more even, mightn't they?
Yeah, the hold will be telling tales of that battle for centuries to come. It was that awesome.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. And what's really cool about it as well, we've got like no idea what's happening with the storyline. Dave's not told
No,
us. He won't tell us. Depending on whether we win or lose a battle, the storyline will change as well. So yeah, we thought a lot of websites do kind of like match play games. So this season we want to lean heavily into um, narrative. So Path to Glory, Crusade, have some unique stories going on. Have the train part of the story as well. So I think we're going to work with Dark Fantastic Mills and have some of their cool scenery on as well. So yeah, it should be really exciting. If you are watching along at home, um, let us know if like narrative battles and more kind of like story driven battle reports is something that you like to see rather than just match play, because we're not kidding anyone, we're no kind of super hardcore tournament players, are we, Jay?
no, I haven't got the brain capacity to do that.
We like rolling some dice and telling a story, so that's what we're going for. Lost Skink, Court of Paint had a Krieg on horse posted on Twitter 30 minutes ago. Looks brilliant, amazing. Yeah, I think with the bodies and heads being separate, it's gonna be really easy to do them, and I want to do it myself. Also, the Lord Solar, I think you could probably do the same with.
This horse looks too clean for a Creek horse.
Oh, you'd have to grub it up a bit, wouldn't you? You'd have to
Mm.
grub it up a bit. Waffles enjoy it, which is we've got all the amazing usernames tonight. Says, is it me or the Atlan Riders release a little odd? They seem a bit conspicuous as there's nothing else Atlan ever. So I think what they've done with the Astra Militarum is try and make it compatible with all the kits that I've released before, with the idea that in Warhammer 40,000 lore wise, you wouldn't necessarily just have a regiment deployed together. You might have elements from different regiments and crusades and campaigns that have ended up kind of as this deployed unit, which does kind of make sense. I do agree it'd be nice to be able to do like a full, like just Krieg army, but it makes sense that there might be some Rough Riders in there or a small Cadian squad that's ended up kind of being assigned to them. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jay, what are you going to say?
I was going to say in the old codexes that you used to get like the Armageddon, the campaign, and the what was it, Storm Eye of Terror one that used to give you like in the back the sort of list of the armies and forces that were taking part, the regiments and things like
Yeah.
that, so you could sort of see. And we've got big Bacon Sarni's just posted in Twitch there that he's just found our podcast and he's loving it.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, there's quite a back catalogue for you to go back through then if you only just found it. I think it's like 4 years or something.
Yeah, episode 230 something. I've lost track of the episodes now. Yeah.
They're normally a Blood Bowl player,
Okay.
but really tempted with either Kill Team or Warcry. Can't decide which. Just painting up a Snotling team for Blood Bowl. Oh, do you know the Snot? I've for the last like 6 or so many months, I've been looking at the Snotling team to buy them for Blood Bowl.
Have you?
Yeah.
Lovingly looking at the Snotlings. You mentioned them
It's
before.
a shame Andy's not online because Andy's a big fan of Kill Team Warcry, isn't he? So he'd be the one to tell you which one to play out of those two.
So I've been lucky enough to look at the latest releases for both of them, and really the main thing I'd ask is, do you like sci-fi or fantasy? I guess is the main kind of like decision first, isn't it?
Yeah, because they are both different systems, aren't they, than the core games? So,
and that's what's really cool about them. It's not like 40k Light or Age of Sigmar Light. Mechanically, they work very differently than the core games, which is fun. Because I think they dabbled with them being like a cut down version of the game, didn't they?
I think the original Kill Team wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that really kind of it differentiated itself from 40k then, did it?
No.
Where the new Kill Team is really cool. With all the different operatives and stuff.
That's what I like about it. Your squad's unique, which is what I really like about Warcry and Underworlds. You've got those unique models in your unit, and Kill Team does that now.
So Kill Team at the minute, so they've gone for like a season approach with both systems at the minute, which is really cool. So over the entire year, all of the releases will be linked together thematically. For Kill Team, we're on board a Space Hawk called the Gallodark. So a Space Hawk is basically an amalgamation of different spaceships that have cobbled together, been dragged into the warp, all sorts of gribbly stuff living on there, and various different factions are fighting over sections of it. Wow, it's very alien, isn't it? Lots of corridors, lots of kind of doors to breach, units putting down turrets and stuff. And the latest box, Soul Shackle, is the Drakari, so kind of like space elf kind of pirates, I guess, versus the Adeptus Arbites, which are like an interstellar police force that uphold the will of the Emperor. You know you've done something bad if the Arbites are knocking on your door. So they're
knocking through your door. They won't knock on your door.
Or literally knocking your door down. So they're in the latest box for Kill Team, and then for Warcry, we've got I forgot what it's called, Blood Hunt, which I've got some miniatures here actually. So we've got some vampires. Let's see if that focuses. So we've got some cool vampires who are kind of like vampire monks. So they're trying to find the balance and control their inner beast. And in order to do that, they've got some like cool ritualistic stuff, like going out to hunt the various monsters in Gur. And they're up against the forces of Khorne, who are basically crazy dudes who worship Karanak, the Hound of Vengeance. So yeah, very different games, different vibes to them. You've not played the latest season of
I haven't. No.
Have you, Jay?
No, and if I wasn't away I'm away this week with work, but when I come back, I'm going to go into GW and pick up the Chameleon Skinks. Do you know?
Oh yes,
the Warcry set.
Juanichi's something or other, I think they're called.
Yeah, I'm picking those up because once I've painted Kroak, I'm going to pick them up next. Because they can join my new army, and then I want to play some Warcry with them. Because
what you should do is like a how to how to play like Warcry style video series where we can basically talk you through the game. It's like
Yeah.
no intro games. That'd be fun. Just give a quick shout out to some people who are in the chat. Local average painter says, "Evening chaps. Currently bunkered down in the garage, airbrushing some Sylvaneth. Excellent.
Oh,
Good
more
choice."
Sylvaneth.
And Evan Lusty says, "Hi lads and lasses. Good luck on your hobby resolutions this year." Um, the hobby resolutions is always a fun topic because we get to the end of the year and we do that Christmas stream and we find out that actually we've forgotten half of our resolutions and we failed them miserably.
I've already forgotten what my resolutions are.
So I
Andy's the best one because Andy posts and he cheats. Andy cheats. I'm
Andy
saying it now. He
cheats.
cheats.
Andy does cheat.
He does it. He does his updates through the year, and he has his blog that he does. That's not fair.
That's always a
You
good
can't.
way
You
of
can't be
doing it,
that
Jay.
organised. I know. Yeah.
He puts us to shame basically. So yeah, if you guys in the chat got any hobby resolutions that you're working on, because yeah, it is fun doing them, isn't it?
It's a fun episode.
We
I thought I did all right this year. I really did. I thought I've done all right this year, especially after I painted like 6,000 points of horror stage. I thought I must have been all right, but no, I failed miserably. It was bad.
the funniest thing is because I tend to host that one, don't I?
Yeah, you even give me like
I
pity
go
points.
through and I go through and have a listen to what we claimed we'd do the previous year, and then I'm just laughing to myself at the lack of progress that anyone will have made. So, Anonymous Rex has just finished up painting up the Scions of the Flame today. Warcry has some amazing models. Yeah, the Scions of the Flame are really nice. I think you quite like them as well. The kind of
These are the they're like Oriental looking fire warriors, aren't they? I like the sort of cool swords they wield and the armor plates.
yeah,
They're not Japanese, are they? But they are quite Oriental, I think, looking.
yeah. They've got lots of different influences, but I think that's the good thing about both Warcry and Kill Team because they don't necessarily have to fit an army, do they? For both games, they can do stuff that is just standalone, and there's no intention of ever having an army release with them. It means that they can do some like nice, cool thematic stuff that can just sit by itself, which is really cool. Lost Skink says, I've still got Kroak to paint, Jay, but wow, what a model to build. Great fun on the table as well, not so much for your opponent. I had been running him with Scar Veteran and 15 Guard in Bounty Hunters last season, and ouch, they kicked butt. Glad Bounty Hunters is gone though. Yeah, you weren't fan on the Bounty Hunters thing. In fact, I don't think you even played the previous season. You'd kind of
The previous season, yeah, with the Galician, it put me off and I lost interest. But I have to say, I am looking forward to playing a bit of Age of Sigmar again.
yeah.
Yeah, Kroak is a brilliant model. Really, really, really nice model. He was the what was the story arc where they all came out? Broken Realms, wasn't it?
Broken
Where we
Realms,
got
yeah.
the twins for Slanesh. What else did we get?
There we got Kragnos, we got Be'lakor, we got
There
all
was a Sylvaneth
sorts.
model, wasn't there? Yes, Be'lakor, of course. Yeah. So we sort of that style of centerpiece. He is a really, really nice centerpiece. Lots of detail on him. I've got the little mummified Kroak separate here.
Mummified
Um,
Kroak.
he comes with two different sort of headdresses as well. I've given them the really elaborate one. Really, really cool. I'm pretty sure on the original metal model he had a mummified skink attendant as well, but this skink
I
looks
believe it did.
perfectly healthy. So
Maybe it started smelling. Needs to get a new one.
yeah,
I
perhaps,
understand
perhaps. But it is
that.
nice. He's got like all these sort of some sort of portal or some machinery around him that's sort of swirling around him. Really, really cool effect.
That's cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing it painted, Jay. It looks a really cool model.
Yeah, it's going to be a few weeks yet, I think.
Yeah. We're saying like this kind of just plodding away because I want to kind of as a bit of a showpiece army. You know, there's rumours that Tyranids are coming in 10th edition. I think it'd be cool to have a little bit of a 2nd edition army to go with them. So Caring Commissar says, good evening. Michael
Hello.
Hancock's, hey guys, great to see Lord Kroak. I'm very excited by the new Seraphon. I've not tried AOS yet and thinking of trying out with Squigs. Yeah, Squigs are fun. The Stormbringer magazine that we were talking about earlier, actually, over the run of the magazine, if you do the premium subscription, I think you get about 2,000 points of them.
Of Squigs?
No, of Gloomspite Git, sorry.
Oh, Glimpse, yes, right.
But there are some lots of squigs in there. So Boing Rot Bounders, Squig Herds, the
Do you get the
character
Mangler?
riding a squig. You don't get a Mangler, sadly, but you get a lot of other stuff. So I can see a lot of people picking up individual. You get what are they called? The Snufflers.
Oh yeah, the Sneak Snufflers, they're nice, yeah.
So yeah, so I can see a
Did
lot
you
of
get the
people picking up.
Gobblepalooza, my favourite Glimpse fight kits
Sadly,
unit?
not. I really like them. You don't get them in the magazine run, but you get a lot of stuff. I think even if you don't subscribe and you just pick up individual episodes, keep an eye
Yeah.
out for that. Who is that? Michael Hancock's, because there might be some issues there that you end up getting the contents of a box way cheaper than a box would cost you. So it feels like we're a sponsored episode now. We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored by Stormbringer magazine or anything like that. We're just really excited about it because it looks cool. Tim Unwin says hello. How are you doing, Tim? What are you working on today? Karen Commissar is trying to do 40k Chaos, 30k Iron Warriors, 40k Guard, and Slaves of Darkness AOS. I'm not in a good place. Nothing seems to get finished. It's look. You probably can't see this, but on my back of my painting desk, there is so much stuff. Various different projects are all midway through. It's unfortunately it's part of the territory. I do applaud anyone who can stay focused and stay on one thing. Which, to be fair, you have been really on your Lizardmen and your Leagues of Votan before that, Jay.
I the year before last or last year, I had a bit of a clear out because I had orc armies, I had some space. I just start an army, build a few, and I never finish it. And I thought I got to stop doing that because I'm just buying and collecting. I really need to focus my efforts on a single army. So Lumineth for Age of Sigmar, that was all the only army I sort of built and painted and bought models for. And then on the Horus Heresy side, I did my Imperial Fist and my Custodians. And like you say, I did my Eldar. If you remember the Latok Eldar before that, got that army painted. Then I started my Leagues of Votan, got Leagues of Votan painted.
Yeah.
Now it's Lizards on the 40k side and the Horus Heresy side. The Horus Heresy taking a bit of a back burner because I've got some models ready for that. I've got some bases, but I can't see a window in the next few months where I'm going to get a chance to work on the 30k Blood Angels. Yeah. But I definitely want to work on 40k Blood Angels on the 40k side. So between now and summer, when the Lizard, the Seraphon come out properly, I'm hoping to have probably 1,000 points of Blood Angels painted.
That'd be cool.
So I've been it was a conscious effort I tried to make a year or two back to sort of work on one project rather than lots of different projects.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's cool. Caring Commissar. Oh, and Stormbringer Mag is now a thing, so that adds to the pile too. Yeah, it does. The good thing with that though, you get in. I guess the opposite what you were saying, Jay. I know you like to do an army in one go, but the good thing with the part works is you are getting an army gradually over the year, aren't you?
Yeah, so you're not just accumulating unbuilt models.
Yeah, which I've got cupboards full of models. I need to have a bit of a sort out, really.
Just running out of space, I am now. With that and board games, sheesh.
Yeah, speaking of which, Tim Unwin is listing all his unused stuff on eBay. Anonymous Rex, Bounty Hunters was brutal for some armies. My poor Chaos Warriors got board wiped by Orc Boar Boys. There's a lot of boars and boards in that sentence. Yeah, it's. I see what they're doing. Sorry, I see what they're doing with the different seasons. It makes different types of armies appealing, so they can shift around how the game plays. We had a focus on monsters, then we had a focus on units. Now we've really got a focus on heroes. And what's quite nice, if you don't chase the meta, as the cool kids say, and like us, you just collect the models that are cool. And what you'll find is that maybe in 6 months' time, actually that unit that the experts online say is rubbish is actually really good in a new season.
Yeah.
So it does kind of reward those who just collect fun models, because they'll all eventually have the time in the sun, because I suspect what they'll do is have, a cavalry focused season or an artillery focused season. It just mixes up the game a little bit. So yeah. So Anonymous Rex says the Squig Battle Box is still on Wayland Games, I think. Is it now?
That has a mangler in it, doesn't it? I think
It does. I think it has 2 manglers in it.
Yeah.
That's not a bad shout. I've always fancied doing a squig army, but I've
Yeah, I
just
know. I'm
got
surprised
no.
you haven't done it already yet. You were interested in the first time they got
Well, I
the Joe
was.
the
Well,
new
you did
Founder boys and
Dreams Play Gits when they came out, so I didn't. And Andy picked
yeah.
up the battle box this time, so I've bowed out. But if Andy doesn't finish his gobbos, I'm going all in. I mean, I'll be painting some on this magazine anyway, so
Oh yeah,
if I
cool. If
see
you're
one
getting them,
cheap
yeah.
somewhere, I might pick up some squigs. Oh, we're slowly getting there on the Hive Tyrant. Um, Steve Harbour says hobby resolution is not to be a hobby butterfly. Excellent. Huh. No, that's
Oh,
fine.
just moving away from Warhammer for a moment.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I started seeing a load of adverts come in. It was just when you mentioned Wayland Games, then it's sort of triggered my memory for a new Star Wars miniatures game, Shatterpoint.
Shatterpoint, yeah.
What what
So
do you know about this?
what do I know about this? This seems like it's prepared, but it really isn't. We're just winging it. So Shatterpoint is from Atomic Mass Games, who make Marvel Crisis Protocol, and it is,
Right.
I want to say, 42mm scale. So the same as the Crisis Protocol. I haven't got any Crisis Protocol models to scale. I don't think you've seen any of them in the flesh, have you, Jay?
No, I
But
haven't. No.
they're quite a lot bigger than Games Workshop models, and it's for that kind of stuff where it's like superheroes or Star Wars characters. It's nice having the bigger scale to like capture the detail, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, I've not been interested in Marvel Crisis Protocols, but I have to say, from what I've seen at that point, it does look like I might pick a box up actually.
Yeah, I think it's a similar kind of idea to that, where you have a team, and there'll probably be like loose factions, but the way it worked in Marvel Crisis is, I guess, in superhero comics and films, your various superhero teams rotate over time, don't they? So it kind of makes sense. Where Star Wars, I don't know if you'd necessarily have, Darth Vader and Yoda on the same side, would you? So I imagine there'll be some more kind of stricter army building rules. But essentially, you have a team of, in Marvel Crisis, it's like 10 guys, and then from that, you draw together a team for the mission. A bit like Infinity, J.
Ah, okay,
Um,
yep.
and that seems to be the same kind of thing that they're going for in this Shatterpoint. So
All right,
yeah,
cool.
I think that'd be cool. But a large scale Star Wars, uh, skirmish, small forces, quite quick paced. Games of Marvel Crisis Protocol are quite fast paced as well, and I suspect it's going to be really a kind of reskinned version of that.
That sounds interesting because I did pick up some of the is it
Star
who
Wars
do the
Legion.
yeah but it really I haven't been motivated to build the models and it's like a whole army again. I'm thinking, well, Warhammer sort of scratches that itch for me, but if this is a smaller sort of squad based Infinity style game, I think I'm quite interested to see what it's like. I have to watch
Yeah,
some. I don't think there's been. It's quite a way out. Is it a few months out
it
yet?
comes
Isn't
out
it?
in
So
June, I believe. I don't think there's much
yeah,
online for it yet.
no.
But yeah, it's going to be like 10 models most per side, kind of like hero leveled rather than
Oh,
squads. Just give a shout out to Jackator, who has resubscribed over on Twitch, saying evening all. How are you doing,
hello.
Jackator?
Yeah,
Um,
subscribed at tier 1 for 3 months.
I don't know if my chat's fallen over, Jay. Is there anything new in Twitch?
Only no, only Jackator there subscribed to tier 1 for 3 months.
Awesome.
Evening.
What are you painting at the minute, Jackator? Are you up to anything fun? Apologies, we couldn't do the stream last week. My camera broke, so I had to wait for a new one to get to come. But on the plus side, it is now mounted to a handy little arm, which you can see just out of shot here. Just means it's a bit more stable and hopefully should focus a little bit better on the details of the model there. So for those who have joined us a little bit later, because we're half an hour in now, I'm painting this beautiful old school Hive Tyrants. It's weird painting up like an old model in a new color scheme, Jay. But I think the details still like stand up. Like even though
The
this model's what 30 odd years old, probably.
it's probably older than some of our listeners. I
It
think
probably is.
the you've done a really good job on the carapace. It's the carapace to me that makes it look like a modern model. The
Yeah,
way you've done the sort of you've obviously layered on the sort of lines, haven't you, across the
mm,
sort of shell, and then glazed it over the top. and that's
Yeah.
I think that's really sort of giving it a bit of a facelift. Because I mean I don't know what did have you got a picture of like the an originally painted version of this model? Because I guess it would have just been like a flat color on the carapace, would it?
Yeah, so, oh crikey, what were they? I think it was like a bone colour on the carapace.
Right.
Very red and bone they were, as was everything in the era. This is like the same time that tree men had red nails. That's the kind of, and all Space Marine bolters were red, so that's the kind of vibe we're going for. So I think I'm nearly done the red. I think I might put a wash into the red just to differentiate between that base colour and the highlights that I'm starting to put on there, or maybe go in with like a slight orange maybe. This is, what is this? Wild Rider red. I could probably go a little bit oranger just to make like the brow and stuff pop out a little bit more, but happy so far. Jackator is Blood Angels getting ready for this week's pre-order for Snappy Dreadnoughts. Have you seen the pre-orders, Jay? We've got the Augustus box with the Punchy Dreadnought, the Rocket
The Furioso.
Goose, and the new Lieutenant. Are you tempted by this one? You've got quite a few Space Marine armies, haven't you? Ultramarines and I guess want
I've
to do
got
Blood Angels.
Yeah, this I've got oof, I don't know 4,000-5,000 points of Ultramarines, and it's all Primaris. So I've sort of added all the new units as they've come out over the. I think it was 8th edition, wasn't it, when we first got the Primaris
Yeah.
models? So Ultramarines is the go-to Space Marine army where I normally add reinforcements for the new kit. So are they the Desolators, the missile launcher Marines there in the Augustus?
Desolators, yeah.
Yeah. So I think looking at those and adding them. However, I'm on a Sons of Sanguinius mission this year.
Yeah.
So this box will be painted red for me for sure.
We'll be picking one up then. Did you like? What about the missile guys? You weren't too convinced on the missile guys.
I'm not. From looking at it, they're okay. They're not. It's not a unit that I would jump out and think, oh yeah, they look ace. I want to build up 2 units of those and include them in an army. I don't not like them. It's just they're not jump out to me. The Furioso Dreadnoughts where it's at for me.
Yeah, and it is very much a Furioso Dreadnought, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I see. I've got a Iron Ravens army that I'd like to add to eventually, and I've always fancied doing some Space Wolves. I've been meaning to do Space Wolves for like since the start of 9th edition, haven't I? But never got around to them. Problem is, we've got so many armies on the go, and we always try and get between us one of each faction painted up so we can use them in like battle reports and videos and stuff. So unfortunately, the Space Wolves have been the Space Marines have been at the back of the queue. Sorry, Waffles Enjoy just made me laugh with the comment of right tenant rather than lieutenant. Yeah, so lieutenant is the correct English pronunciation of lieutenant. But it is funny. What makes me laugh? We should do a little bit of an outtakes thing because there's lots of varied pronunciations of stuff in Sprues and Brews HQ, isn't there?
There is.
The Death Corps. Dave calls them the Death Corps. And Astra Militarum or Astra Militarum. I suspect in different parts of the galaxy, things are maybe pronounced in a slightly different way, so it's probably fine.
The best thing to make him say is Astra Militarum. No, Adeptus Sororitas.
Adepta Sororitas.
Adepta, even I got it wrong. That's what you get for trying to pick on someone who's not here.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if we released it. If we can find it, we should put it out as an outtake sometime. But my favourite one is we were doing a battle report, Orcs versus Space Marines. I want to say Ultramarines, and I was trying to shoot my what was it? Rocket Truck Squig Buggy, and it took us about 8 takes. I kept saying Rucker Truck Squig Bunny. I just couldn't say it right. It was bad times. Lost Skink says, did you manage to get the End in the Death map, the limited edition? Yes, I did. So I know a lot of people had major issues trying to get this book because the Games Workshop website just fell over at about 5 to 10 on Saturday morning, and I thought I wasn't going to get it. So I'd been on the website for about half an hour, refreshing the site away, and it was in my basket, and it was very, very slowly going through the checkout process. What I made sure to do is not refresh the page, because that could just stick you back to the start of the queue. So just persevered, let it go. Eventually got to the address page, eventually got to the payment page, and finally got my email to say that I'd got my limited edition End in the Death. But I know a lot of people were very disappointed that by the time they'd finally got to the page where they could pay for it, it was out of stock, which is a massive
Right.
shame. I think this was always going to be. I mean, they're super popular anyway, aren't they? These Siege of Terror limited editions,
Yeah.
and unfortunately. I think as we get close to the end of the series, there's going to be more of an issue with scalpers because there's like copies on eBay for like 300 quid now, Jay.
300. Wow. You got your. Well, I mean, it's. I mean, something like that. If it's a limited edition, I wonder if Games Workshop could handle it a bit differently, where they give you like a, if you've already pre-ordered one of them, more than likely you're going to want the whole set. And it's a shame if you've invested, you bought 8 or was this is this a ninth one, isn't it?
This is it's been the novellas as well, so there's been a lot so far.
Yeah, so you can invest quite a lot in it, and if you miss one, it's like you've got an incomplete collection there, and it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah,
I almost feel like
would be that obviously the scalpers have probably ordered each one as well, and in their order history they've probably bought one of each.
Yeah, I wonder if I don't know. Maybe there's no way around it, and maybe it's just luck of the draw. But I think if you got like a voucher in the back of your book, so you get early, you can queue up for the next one, or you can guarantee a pre-order of another one. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
It register in advance with this voucher. So I bought the last one. I want to buy the next one. Here's my code to prove that I bought the last one. Yeah, okay, we'll pre-order that for you. You guaranteed one now. Otherwise, I do feel sorry for the people that have invested hundreds in that series and haven't been able to complete it.
It's it would be gutting, wouldn't it, if you had them all and then End of the Depth was just a paperback version on the end of your shelf next to all the nice leather-bound special edition ones. Waffles and Joy says ebooks can't get scalped. Yeah, but and I get that you don't collect the physical books of these, do you, Jay? You've got the audio.
Oh no,
so you don't have that issue at all, do you?
No, and I mean I haven't got enough room to display something like that, and it would be display. But I do enjoy the story, and the audiobooks. I mean, I don't get time really to sit down and read a paper book anymore, so I do all of my listening on the walk back into work. So audiobooks are sort of brilliant for that. I am looking forward. This one comes out next week, then, doesn't it? So
yes,
you'll start listening. You've got like 2 or 3 books to catch up on, haven't you, Matt?
I do. I'm currently reading. What is it? Warhawk.
Oh yeah, such a good book.
So we're currently working through that now. I've got a little bit of catching up to do because I've been a bit busy, but I've managed to pick up the books each time. So yeah, what we'll be doing is having a bit of a binge session, going through all of these books because I need to. There's only one book left after this. Well, there's another surprise novella, which there might be.
Yeah, that's it.
Or there's End in the Death Part 3. Who knows? But yeah, in theory, there's only one more after this one. Apparently, it was available on Kindle for a short time before it was pulled.
Oh, was it by mistake?
By mistake, yeah. They released it a week early, and some people I think are currently reading through it.
Fair enough.
So Lost Gink says, yeah, I refreshed, didn't realise it would put me to the back of the queue, and now even my Games Workshop basket is frozen. I managed to get the Dawn of Fire book, but End in the Death was gone. I received an order number, but still not had a confirmation email. I'd maybe go, if you're on the Games Workshop website, there's a little live chat thing. I don't know if it's on all the time or just in like working hours, but I'd definitely send them a message. You never know. You might get lucky.
Yeah.
It does suck. It does suck, and I'd be gutted if I missed out myself. I've just been lucky that my order worked, and again, I know there's been some grumbling on on Twitter today, saying that people like influencers and stuff get early access to these books. That's not the case. All this kind of stuff, we're just in the queue like everyone else. I think. My biggest advice, and I know the website crashed and that didn't help, but my biggest advice is get on the website with plenty of time. And I'm normally on there like 20 minutes, half an hour before, and then just keep periodically refreshing because they tend to go up on the site about 5 to 10 minutes before before the 10 o'clock when it officially goes up for pre-order. So you can normally get a little bit of a head start. But the problem is, obviously, everybody's doing that, and I think the website just collapsed under traffic. And they did have for a lot of the big releases last year, they did have a queuing system on the Games Workshop
Yeah, they
website, didn't
did. Yeah.
they? So I'm surprised they didn't use that for Ending the Death, because I think the traffic for that was so big, even people not buying that were affected, and the website was just running really slow. And there's not a lot you can do if scalpers have got bots that just buy the book for them. It'll just be spamming the website, won't it? But equally, I don't think it's all scalpers. I just think genuinely more people wanted to buy the book than there was copies printed, unfortunately. Which sucks, but it's a popular series. The good thing is that with the earlier books in the series, you had to wait months, didn't you, until the standard edition came out. I
Yeah.
remember being like miles ahead of the story with you, and I couldn't tell you anything, Jay, until you finally listened to the audiobook in like 6 months'
Yeah, I
time.
remember. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good
I'm
thing.
glad
We're
they've stopped
now,
that.
yeah, because people were getting spoilers way in advance.
Yeah.
So Waffles and Joy says if they want them to be limited, they should do the books like they do some of the box sets. A set period of taking orders, then they produce the books, which is a good idea. I think the only thing is because it's like a numbered limited edition and it's signed, I think they are always going to be a finite number of them, isn't there? I mean, honestly, I guess on that point, if it was like a made to order, but it didn't have the signed title page, I think people would be happy with that too, just so the books all match in the set.
Yeah, that's it. Just if you've got a shelf full of them and you're missing one or two of them, it's a real shame.
Yeah, I mean, it bugs me when we see like Necromunda books with different spine designs,
Yeah.
let alone missing one or two with like the culmination of the Horus Heresy, which a lot of people are very excited about as well. It's a big deal, isn't it? I do wonder what they're going to do after the Horus Heresy, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are other periods of time they could cover, but I don't think any of them have got the sort of
The
fan
draw
base as
of
the
it,
Horus
yeah.
Heresy. No, I'm really not sure. I mean, there's not really anything on the fantasy side, but then you got
Well, I
Old
don't
World
know.
coming back.
I do wonder, and this probably fits for the timelines as well. You could have new stories, much like the Horus Heresy was like new ways of telling old lore, revisiting the time period that's going to be in the old world, because
Yeah,
we know it is an older time period that we don't know much about.
I
So
mean, there were lots of cool things that happened. I think it's like 100 years ago, isn't it, or something from the old
yeah,
say. But you've got like obviously the War of the Beard with the dwarfs. I think that was a long time before. You've obviously got the first war against Chaos. You've
yeah,
got the High Elves when they made the ritual, Joe the Vortex and that kind of thing,
yeah,
and draw the Sword of Cain. There is some really, really cool, but again, I'm not sure it has the. I mean, the Horus Heresy series, the Black Library novels, they were like a award-winning a series of books, weren't they? And I'm not sure anything else in the Warhammer universe has sort of got that pull, but I don't know.
yeah. I think the thing with Horus Heresy is it'd be the thing that had existed in the lore, but hadn't ever been like fully fleshed out, getting the full story of it. So it was a
I
big
mean,
deal because people wanted to know, like, what happened between Horus and the Emperor. How did Sanguinius end up getting killed?
yeah,
And I think they've subverted a lot of expectations as well in the series, haven't they?
they have, yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if there's some, major surprises in Ending the Death.
I mean, one period of time they could go to, which would really interest me, but I don't know if it's got mass appeal, is the golden age of humanity and the dark age of technology.
I'd
You know,
like
the
to see the
Thunder
Dark Age of
Warriors,
technology, yeah.
the Great Crusade itself. Thunder Warriors and stuff. there's still a lot of interesting story there. Um, I mean, the Horus Heresy helped, I think, because it has got a game system that supports it.
Though, don't forget, the game came after the book series.
It did, yeah, but I do feel like, I mean, certainly from my side, the books inspired me to go out and build armies for the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, yeah. Which is, I mean, it must be the plan. Let's face it, they want to make money at the end of the day, don't they?
Yeah.
Lost King says they have sent a message over to Games Workshop. They're hoping for good news. Hopefully, hear back tomorrow. Yeah, fingers crossed. Let us know next week on the show if you did have good news. And you never know. One thing I'd say, if you are in the UK, I don't know where you're based, but if you are in the UK and you're free next Saturday, like for Warhammer World to open, give Warhammer World a go. If
Yeah.
anywhere is going to have like a cheeky copy of it on the shelf, it'll be Warhammer World. They have stocked them in the past, but you would have to be like, I guess, first in the shop and pick it up straight away, wouldn't you? So yeah, it's worth a shot if they do get any in. So Waffles Enjoyer says the Scouring would be a good thing to focus on.
This was the period of time after the Horus Heresy, wasn't it, where Guilliman led the sort of Imperium against the retreating Chaos Space Marines, Traitor Marines, retaking worlds. The Codex Astartes was sort of enforced, wasn't it? There was the breaking up of the legions.
They could do a mini series like the Siege of Terror with 5 to 10 books covering that. Might be fun.
Yeah, there's a whole load. I mean, I'd love to see like the War in Heaven, the Necrons and the Eldar, even the old ones. But I don't think it's got that mass appeal. We'll have to see though. They'll have to fill that gap with something, won't they? Because I mean, it has been such a big part of certainly the Black Library side of things, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. The biggest Black Library release.
But then, I mean, saying that, there are a lot of Black Library books that come out. You only have to see every other week in the pre-orders. We see lots of Black Library content, so there is a lot out there. But again, it hasn't got the sort of pull of, well, not pull, but reach as the Horus Heresy.
The Horus Heresy's got a very particular kind of like excitement about it, hasn't it? Just because it is the Horus Heresy. You could have a Horus Heresy cooking book from Black Library, and it probably sell quite well, So Lost King says, will it finish with the End and the Death? Surely they'll need to tie it up in a book after. So this is End and the Death Part 1. There will be a Part 2, and I'm sure they said that End and the Death is the final story in the Siege of Terror. They may well end it with the aftermath of Horus getting killed. Maybe. I don't think they'll go too far, onwards in the story following that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
mean, I imagine you've got to see the Emperor on the Golden Throne, haven't you? And the birth of the Imperium as we know it. I was there the day the Emperor died.
Well, yeah.
And then again, when the real Emperor, because I mean, is he dead? Is he alive? It's that's the beginning of the end, isn't it, for humanity, really? So,
who said that quote? Was it Torgadon?
I can't remember. Or was it Loken? It could have been Loken, could it? I don't know though.
I forget. It'd be nice for whoever that was to kind of basically repeat that again at the end of it.
Yeah, I think it's a nice full circle.
Yeah. So Anonymous Rex says the Unification Wars would be a good series to do.
This was, actually, I would love to see this as a sort of box game or a small scale game. There's some really, really cool stories in the Horus Heresy series about the unification. Birth of the Emperor, Birth of the Imperium is a good book, which sort of the setting of that is just towards the end of the Unification Wars, where the Thunder Warriors have sort of served their purpose. Really, really cool. And you've got all these sort of barbarians and warlocks and using forbidden dark technology and chaos infiltrated, bit Mad Maxy. It does seem like a really, really cool sort of setting. And then obviously the Emperor was walking around with his custodians, but they were all wearing the leather bronze armor and stuff at that point, not their Auramite gold. And then you had the Proto Astartes towards the end. it is a really, really interesting time period that's not really been covered outside of these small novels and snippets in the Horus Heresy series.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
yeah,
fun.
Unification Wars actually I think would be good.
Yeah, that'd work, wouldn't it?
Just
Lost Skinks in Scotland, so might struggle getting hold of get to
you've not got a
Warhammer Worlds.
teleportarium chamber
That's a
you can
shame.
use.
Yeah, it's unfortunately without paying scalpers silly money. Yeah, the problem is I don't know what they could do differently to help with the pre-orders. It didn't help that the website crashed, and I know in their financials, I think they did mention that they're redoing the website because it's one thing going onto the website and it's already sold out, but it's frustrating having it in your basket and the website's timing out so that when you eventually pay for it, it's sold out. That sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know how you get on with that though, because they are really nice limited editions.
Right.
Steve,
I'm
oh
gonna.
sorry,
Oh, no, carry on, Matt. Carry on.
I was
When
say
you finished, I've got a new topic to talk about.
a new topic. Okay, we'll rattle
Yeah.
through these last comments in the chat. So Steve Harbour said it'd be great to see the Badab War as a book series. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, there was a Forge World campaign book, wasn't there, for the Bad
There
Ab War?
was,
Because
yeah.
you could get the was it the Astral Lions, I can't remember what the Astral Claws. I can't remember now. The Huron, isn't it? Huron
Yeah,
Lufthart. He in Terminator, a nice model. And then there was the Lamenters. I think they picked the wrong side, but they stayed loyal.
they picked the wrong side, but they stayed loyal.
And there's a really, really cool Space Marine chapter. I'm sure the Minotaurs were dispatched to deal with the Badab War,
Yeah,
but
I'm fairly certain Dinosaurs
is
were.
it the Mantis Warriors? I think were they there as well? It's just a really, really nice color scheme for that army. What
Yeah.
chapter?
Yeah, no, that's cool. And the Ford. You know what? I missed the Imperial Armor books. I think they were fun. You know,
You can get some of them on the subscription, can't you?
yeah, I mean like new ones.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think they were cool.
They they
Um,
they they. I find that the 40k sort of official Games Workshop ones that I find them to read like almost like a not a comic book, but you know that kind of narrative. Whereas the Forge World ones I find to read almost like a historical document where they're sort
yeah,
of describing a conflict in the Imperial sort of history.
yeah, they were really cool. Though the current Arcs of Omen series has been a good read.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
Waffles Enjoyer says, how about some 18 plus books detailing how Slanesh came to be?
Well, they've got the crime books now, haven't they?
They
Which are
have,
a bit darker and a bit more adult.
and the Warhammer horror as well. You know,
Yeah.
there's the potential of all sorts of genres. Don't forget though, Slanesh is the god of excess, so even just gorging yourself on a meal is Slanesh's domain. So there's lots of other aspects of Slanesh. Lost Skink, Torgadden said it in Horus Rising. Cool, that was
Ah,
right.
right. Good memory.
Yeah, my memory's terrible, but I've got fragments of Warhammer lore just kind of filed away. So things like Cicatrix Maledictum, I can't forget. Vulnerable Gamer 4 says, "Good evening, chaps." Right, Jay, I'm going to hand over to you. You've got a new topic of discussion for the last hour of the
Yeah.
show.
Well, I don't know if it's going to take an hour, but it'd be interesting to. So we obviously we mentioned Shatterpoint previously, which is a cool system. What other sort of universe or setting out there would you like to see a miniatures game for? So you know, one that doesn't exist already. So you know, is there like a series or a book or a film that you think would make a good sort of miniatures game?
Ooh, good topic. Good topic. So yeah, that is interesting because obviously we've got a few different Star Wars games over the years now, haven't we? And obviously we've got Marvel, we've got DC covered. There's a Harry Potter miniatures game. I think a new company, I forget what they're called. They're the same ones who do the Harry Potter game. Have got the license for a Game of Thrones as opposed to a Song of Fire and Ice. So they'll make a
Okay.
miniatures game based on the TV show,
All right. Cool.
which is cool. Um, I don't know, Jay. Um,
See, I mean, Remember the Starship Troopers miniatures game?
Yeah, I believe that was
Short-lived
written by Andy
Starship
Chambers
Troopers.
as well.
Yeah, that was one that I wish was still around because that's a setting I would love to play as a miniatures game. But then also, I would also like to play a miniatures game set in the Godzilla universe.
Oh, can you imagine like kaiju
Yeah,
miniatures?
that's what I'm
That'd be
thinking.
really
Like,
cool, wouldn't it?
yeah, like because they could be like Titan sized, and you could have the scenery, and I mean, there's so many different kaiju, and then you could, robots to fight them and stuff. I think that would be quite a cool sort of miniatures game.
That'd be really cool. Do something like Adeptus Titanicus, where you can like focus on different areas,
Yeah,
and you would have think for longevity. So the problem with the Starship Troopers game, I guess, is there's only so many releases you can put out for it, isn't there?
yeah. I mean, I'm not. I don't know because there used to be a TV series more closely based on the book, I think, or the
Okay.
books, and there were a lot more different units and things in there that you saw in the film. But yeah, you are right. You would have to have a bit of creative license, I think, to
Yeah.
introduce new bugs and new weapons and things. But
But like you say, kind of, we'll call it Godzilla verse or something. You've even got stuff like how many different Godzillas have we had over the years?
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
You know,
and if you look at like your Marvel Crisis, where you've got different versions of the same hero, exactly right. You've got all these different versions of Godzilla, Mothra, King Kong,
coming from the
Ghidorah.
country that's brought us like Gundam figures and stuff. I'm surprised
Yeah,
that nobody's done a licensed Godzilla miniatures game, or even just Godzilla miniatures.
yeah,
That'd be ace. Like imagine Mothra the size of a Warhound Titan,
yeah. I
Adeptus
mean,
Titanicus scale.
yeah, that's it. And it could be like almost like a drafting type game where you put together a team of kaiju, two or three kaiju on a side, similar to what you do with Adeptus Titanicus, where you build your mana pool
Yeah,
with different monsters.
yeah,
Um,
that'd be a really good idea. Send in your suggestions, guys. I see Anonymous Rex said Mass Effect, Ranchy War, Krogan Rebellion. Mass Effect would be a good one.
This is a game I've always wanted to play. What kind of game would it be though? Where Anonymous Threats would it be a small scale skirmish game or a space combat? Because obviously you've got the Normandy, haven't you? A really cool looking ship.
Yeah, and you know what? We've had quite a few licensed games over the years. There was a Terminator one from
Was there?
Warlord Games, I think. Yeah, Warlord Games did a Terminator themed game. It didn't do very well. And again, that's just down to maybe the lack of different stuff you can do with it, maybe
Yeah,
because you've got the humans, you've got the robots. There's only so many different variants of Terminator you can release, I guess. What else we had? There was a Mars Attacks miniatures game.
no way.
Yeah, yeah.
We come in peace.
I think there's been a War of the Worlds miniatures game.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that'd be cool, wouldn't it? What we've got another space says it could be a skirmish or 40k scale. Venerable Gamer 4 says James Bond, small skirmish with multiple agents on one side. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? That'd be a bit
That
different.
that would be cool. Like some sort of stealth mechanic. You
Yeah,
could have some really, really cool sort of mission objectives in that, couldn't you? Battle plans in that one.
yeah. You could even have it like AI driven, so one player, and like a deck of
Yeah,
cards controls like the hostiles.
like your Skyrim
Yeah, yeah,
when you're doing your
exactly. Yeah,
delve.
just like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That'd be really fun.
You see, nowadays with 3D printers, you can just come up with these ideas and do it yourself, couldn't you? I mean,
Should we?
you could even use an existing gaming system and adapt it.
Yeah, I mean, that is quite interesting, isn't it? Like, could we put together our own miniatures game? Just the rules and stuff, and obviously with 3D printing, you can have limitless resources.
Yeah,
It'd be fun.
that's
It'd be
it.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting. Hopefully this week. It's been a bit of an issue with the shipping of it, but I'm expecting my copy of L4 Chronicles to arrive this week whilst I'm away with work.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm going to get those built, but me and my brother are going to paint them all up for us, and then I'm going to bring them on the channel and have a game with that on the channel. And this is just that. A group of people just built their own skirmish game, created their own universe, We've got a preview up on the Sprues and Brews website. You want to check out L4, where we had early access to the rules and some of the sample miniatures and things and stat cards, and it was a really, really sort of interesting system. But they've just done that, Matt. They've had an idea for a game, and I think there's probably not so well. I don't know how. Certainly, releasing rules to the community and creating your own game is certainly possible now, especially with the advent of 3D printers and things like that. You can produce all of the sort of materials yourself. Making it mass market, I don't know. That's a different thing altogether, completely.
Yeah.
But
the danger is you've got to have, I guess, a unique selling point and enough to keep people interested, and enough variety at launch to keep people on board as well. I
yeah,
think with Conquest, which I think struggled in its early days because while there was lots of lore, the factions have slowly kind of released over the years, and now it's in a position where there's lots of factions and they're bringing out new factions. But when a
yeah,
game like that comes out and there's only two factions, if people don't like either of those two factions in that initial starter box, then very often the game will die because there's not enough people buying it to support it. You might have all the
yeah.
plans in the world to release, all sorts of stuff in the future, but you're not going to be able to get to that point if people don't buy your initial offerings.
That's it.
So
Yeah,
it is hard to get into, especially when you've got, the big boys like Games Workshop you're competing against, really.
yep.
Unless you do something different. And I haven't got any examples of anything different. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but some kind of unique mechanic or
Well, that's it. I mean, if you look at like Infinity, for example, with the reaction mechanic, there's a couple of games now that do it, but at the time, a lot of the games you played were similar to I Go, You Go, like Warhammer. Um, um, Pretzel Rocks, not Pretzel Rocks, sorry, Venerable Gamer 4 suggests a game like Mario
Mario
World
World
miniatures game.
miniatures game.
That could be cool. There's plenty of variety in terms of characters in Mario. On even Mario, Luigi, Peach, but also you've got the baddies as well, the Koopas and things like that. You could have a really really cool sort of skirmish battle game, couldn't you? Almost like a MOBA type game, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Or an arena battle type game, Super Smash Bros. Style.
yeah. I think the gulf between miniatures games and board games is getting closer now as well.
Yeah,
And there's lots of crossover. So today over on spruesandbrews.com, I put up the video version of our interview with Isaac Childress, creator of Gloomhaven and Frosthaven. So if you've not, it was on the podcast as well, but if you've not heard the podcast, I've got it in video format as well, where he talks about how he created Gloomhaven, the Kickstarter campaign, and all the difficulties that comes with that, and then going on to the sequel, making things bigger and better for Frosthaven. And I guess there's a lot of things that you don't necessarily think about
appreciate.
until you
No,
have to. Yeah, you don't appreciate it until you're having to put out a multi-million-pound Kickstarter.
yeah,
I remember we were chatting to the guys from Tooth and Coats, so Peter and Duncan, and one of the things that nearly was an issue with them was Peter phoned Duncan and was like, "Okay, serious question: do we still want the washers to smell like coconut?" Because of the Suez Canal blockage, they couldn't get the coconut essence, whatever it was, into the UK to add that scent to the washer. Because apparently, washers as they come out of the factory are horrible smelling things. So you mask it with something, and they wanted to use coconut so they smelled nice. So yeah, it's but you'd never think that you're making a paint range and you need to get hold of coconut extract or something, do you?
no.
And then that's a small example. Magnify that to an entire game system, and you've got things being printed in China and delays to that, and yeah, it's a big job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Venerable Gamer 4 says the Gloomhaven interview was fascinating. Really enjoyed it. Well, thank you very much. Let us know if anyone is watching that is a fan of the site or the podcast. Obviously, this year we've moved away from a weekly release and into, I guess, a couple of episodes a month, at least one episode a month, depending on the content that comes out. It's less of a kind of fixed release schedule, but more tied into the interviews that we're doing, and we've had quite a few so far. So let us know if you prefer that kind of format, because what we found is on the weekly shows would very often be regurgitating a Battletome review that we've written for the website. Ironically now, there's so many releases coming out, we probably could support it, but I think if people want to specifically digest that content for a review, they'll just go to the video or go to the article, won't they? They're not necessarily going to listen to a whole podcast, where I personally think the interview sits better in a podcast rather than that kind of stuff. But let us know what you think. If you prefer the older stuff, then we'd love to hear the feedback. Yeah, is there anyone that you'd love to get on the show and interview, Jay? If we could have anybody on the show, and the people at home as well, if you're watching, if there's anyone that you'd like to see come on and do a Sprues and Brews interview with us, who would it be?
That's interesting. That was interesting. Do you know who I'd like to talk to on the podcast? Ray.
You know what? We would absolutely have Ray on the show. So Ray Dramfield, he's a scenery sculptor for Games Workshop. He does all the Middle Earth stuff. He's done a lot of Age of Sigmar and 40k stuff. Absolute hero. We always have a good chat with him whenever we see him. And we actually, when was it? On my birthday, when we were down in Warhammer
Yeah, we
World,
saw him at Warhammer
we
World.
actually
Yeah,
bumped into him and we were having a chat. Unfortunately, I don't think he'd be allowed on the show.
no, I don't think so.
But it'd be really cool if he did. It'd be like the coolest thing ever. And he's a really nice guy.
He is a really nice guy, and like you say, the quality of the terrain, and the thing is as well is it's like the joined up thinking as well of all the different terrain kits that come out and how they work together.
Yeah,
it's really, really impressive, and it would be great to to sort of hear that sort of thought process from the guys themselves that sort of put that together. I think that would be a good interview.
Yeah, I'd like that. You know who I'd like to have on?
Who?
Sir Ian Livingstone, creator of Games Workshop, Fighting Fantasy, absolute hero. Me and Dave did manage to interview him at the UK Games Expo a couple of years ago, but it's one of those where we just kind of like blagged away onto his stand and managed to grab him for a few precious moments of his time.
Kidnapped him.
Yeah, but it's like a show where we haven't. It'd be nice to have like half an hour with him just chatting like the genesis of Games Workshop and how it all started and what he thinks of it now. I think that'd be really cool. I'm just trying to find some green colours for the Venom cannon. Do we go the green triad from Two Think Oats? So Wyvern green, emerald green, ethereal green for the Venom cannon itself. Or do we
I think you need to go brighter.
Yeah.
Mind you, the ethereal green is mute green, isn't it? Which is quite a bright green, actually, mute green.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to go lighter than that, though. I don't know if we go Incubi Darkness and up through the Dark Eldar colours.
Well, I'm actually working with those colours right now, Matt. They're more pastel, so the Cabalite green and then the Sybarite green. I think you want a more venomous-looking sort of green, don't you? You almost want if I show you, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it very well on here, but can you see? Let me see if I've got. I'm not sure you can see it very well on the camera. Sorry.
Kind of like the really, yeah. You know what?
These greens.
I could go through the triad here, and then we'll go up to a highlight mixed with white, and then maybe do a bit of a green glaze over it.
Yellow. Maybe put a bit of yellow in it.
Yellow, yeah, that'd work. Let's try this. Yeah,
because I'm using the dark elder greens now, but I'm going. This is more for the bluey green sort of jade colour.
Yeah. No, you are right. It's that kind of like really kind of sharp venom green that I want. And yeah, a little bit of yellow mixed in with ethereal green. Maybe one of the
you
top
could use the
triad from Two Think Oats.
Yeah, and then you could. Is there a? No, I'm getting myself confused here. They are releasing a yellow glaze, aren't they? The Kickstarter, the second Kickstarter. But you've got the washes here, but there's no yellow. So what I was thinking there was the Lamenter's yellow equivalent.
Yeah.
which would be a really nice yellow glaze to put over the top of the green. And in fact, actually, I might do it myself on some of the green leaves on
You
this
know
model.
what? I do have some of the yellow glaze from GW as well in my paint pot, so we might go up there.
But
Yeah, so
ration it out.
two thin coats. We've been lucky enough to do the interview with the Wave 2, haven't we? And
Yeah.
I really want to paint with some of those paints because they look amazing. Vulnerable Gamer 4 says, I really want to get my hands on some of those triads. They're really nice. So Element Games stock them. So if you want to try some out, and as a bit of a plug for the site as well, obviously we do all this for free. If you do order anything from Element Games, if you go over on the website and use any of the banners on there or any of the links in any of our articles, we actually get a little bit of a kickback from whatever you buy, and that kind of helps go towards running costs and everything. We don't like to have the website full of adverts and stuff. That's not our style. So yeah, if you do like to help us out, that is one way you can do it. And you're also getting something as well yourself because you're buying something you would have bought anyway. Right, this green I think is going to work, Jay.
Nice.
Yeah. I really look forward to using these.
I really do hope that the rumours are true and Tyranids are getting a new book with 10th. And the reason that makes me really excited about that is I remember when Necrons came out with 9th, and the Necron Codex was, you had the protocols, and they really fleshed out that race. And I know Tyranids have got quite a long and storied history anyway, that they are quite a well fleshed out faction, but it'd be so cool to learn more about them and see, new sort of bioengineered monsters and things like that. And I really hope they go more into the origin of the Tyranid, where they came from. That part of that mystery is still there for me. Like, they entered our galaxy, but what were they doing? Where did they come from? What were they fleeing from potentially? Really, really fascinating. They are proper aliens, aren't they? In the 40k setting, they're not from our galaxy.
Yeah, they are the most like alien race there, aren't they?
Yeah,
and like non-human race. They're completely alien in every sense of the word, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. And also, like with the Necrons, they've got a lot of models, but a lot of them are very old and starting to show their age now.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see some of those older kits.
I'd like to see. Yeah, I'd like to see, and I expect we will. If Necrons are gonna, not Necrons, Tyranids are gonna be in the the launch set for 10th edition alongside. I would expect Space Marines, but I'm just guessing at this point based on what's come before. And you look at the sort of range refresh that the Necrons got. If Tyranids get that treatment, then it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, you're talking. Even the Tyranid Warrior Sprue is quite old now. Now, arguably, that doesn't need replacing because it's fairly kind of, it still holds up. I'd like. Now, we've talked about this on the site before, but I really like the. Let me grab one. The second edition Tyranid Warriors. I think they're iconically Tyranids. Yeah, they look a bit goofy with their kind of buck teeth, but I think they looked more alien rather than just like bugs. Where the Tyranids got more of a lot of them got more of a kind of insectal vibe, haven't they?
I'll just say, yeah, I value your opinion on those models, Matt.
No, but I like the idea of that as a new unit, though. Maybe not the exact same thing, but I don't know, something different. I think
what might be quite.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say that with Space Marine 2, the computer game coming out, and obviously Tyranids are at least one of the adversaries that the Marines face in that. I wonder if we'll see some clues there. Obviously, in the trailer, we saw Primaris Marines with jump packs.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether there'll be some new Tyranid Gribblers in there that perhaps hint at a new model, a new unit.
Do we know when Space Marine 2 is out?
Well, let me Google it. I think it has got a date.
Because if it's this summer, that potentially lands alongside 10th edition anyway.
There's a nice pre-order statue, isn't there? You can get for it at the moment.
Yeah.
6th of September.
Okay, yeah. So.
Oh no, sorry, my bad. That was for the first version of the game. No, release date 2023.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it is on or around about the same time as 10th edition.
Yeah.
Just with if 10th edition is Tyranids versus Space Marines, and Space Marine 2 is Tyranids versus Space Marines, it's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously, Games Workshop would probably then give them access to the designs and stuff of the new Gribblies, but they wouldn't be able to show them in the trailers yet. So yeah, I think that'd be cool. Venerable Gamer 4 says, I think a friendly local gaming store in Bournemouth near me stocks two thin coats, but I'd love to help you guys out. That's massively appreciated. Also, the Tyranid Warriors, old school ones, are wonderful. I have my mate's ones that I took from his Space Crusade. Yeah, they are cool models.
Was Space Crusade, was that the board game with the plastic dreadnought, grey dreadnought thing
Yep,
in it?
and the Chaos
Yeah,
Androids and all
used to
sorts
have
of
that.
wacky stuff. Now, again though, a lot of this old wacky stuff has kind of been reimagined in 40k. Chaos Androids have become Necrons, and it. I do wonder if keeping an eye on the past would be a good way of maybe seeing some teasers for the future.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we've heard rumors about is Overwatch, which was a thing in, obviously it's a thing now, but in second edition of the game, basically let you shoot during your opponent's movement phase. So that'd kind of work in the game, wouldn't it? We see that in boarding action.
Yep.
So yeah, there's lots of cool stuff they can do. I think there's a lot of nonsense on the internet with rumors. A lot of people make stuff up. But like Vulnerable Gamer just said, what like squats? Yeah, squats. Who thought squats would be coming? And how many times have we heard rumors about squats? And then the Leagues of Votann came out, which is the concept of
Well,
squats, but reimagined in modern kind of style, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
what do you
love what
say,
they've done
Jay?
with the League of Votum. I was going to say, yeah, we had the Ironhead squats, the actual squats as well for Necromunda. I think
Yeah,
they came first, didn't they?
they did. Yeah. So and then
And
Sisters
in
of
fact, there
Battle
was
got
actually,
redone.
Sisters of Baal, Adeptus Mechanicus, Gene Steel Cults,
Yeah, I mean, Jesus to the cults.
Harlequins.
Yeah. Oh, and all of those were like as old as this model that I'm painting now. The Gene Stealer Cult Army list was in the back of that first Tyranid second edition book. It was nothing new. It just never got kind of fleshed out into a full faction until what, 8th edition?
Yeah.
So you never know. And that's what makes me think we could see things like the Hrud, who are basically Space Skaven.
Well, you got Space Dwarfs. I think you definitely need Space Skaven.
And like you take the brief of Space Skaven, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're eating warpstone and have warp lightning cannons and stuff. You just take that as the kind of like the one line concept of the army, and then you have different stuff. I don't know. They travel through space by creating wormholes, which essentially like rats gnawing through space time,
Yeah.
and that's how they
I
travel
mean,
around.
yeah, the in the Votan book, obviously, I think the original, the sort of unofficial where did the squats go? They were devoured by Tyranids.
Yep.
That's what happened. The Tyranids ate the homeworld, and that was the end of the squats. And there are references to Votan kinbans being wiped out by Tyranids. So it's just a footnote in the history. So they can, you could definitely have some Hrud that maybe were corrupted by chaos or swarm around chaos infected worlds, and that kind of just drawn to chaos infected worlds. It's just a sort of like a Easter egg almost
The
uh,
Skaven, yeah.
for the Skaven, but it doesn't have to define the whole. They can take them in a completely different direction.
And that's it. They
And
don't
I
have to be
actually,
like comedy Ratman either. They could be like super sinister, evil race with really ace-looking models, couldn't they?
yeah,
Like the Flood concept art that they did, and apparently back when they were doing Tau, a lot of those drawings that we see in the third or fourth edition book, I want to say,
third edition
third
rulebook,
edition
yeah,
rulebook, a lot of those were different concepts they had for armies that they were working on. So we had there's a Kroot in there long before the Kroot.
there is. There's the DeLorean Fiend, Claude Fiend, which was a Dark Eldar,
Yeah.
the retinue of the Archon model.
Yeah, and I think this concept art for the Hrud looked
There is,
more
yeah.
like I don't know a more high tech Jawa, didn't it?
I was going to say it looked more like a Jawa, yeah. You
You've
had
got
the oh, I've got oh I had oh I've taken it upstairs. What a shame. I had the third edition 40k book behind me not so long ago.
did
I could
you?
have. Oh right, I'm coming back in 2 seconds. I know where it is.
Right,
Oh no,
okay.
no, no, I can't. I can't.
I'll
Oh,
tell you
that's a
what.
shame.
Next week on the stream, Jay, bring the
I'll get it
book, and
out.
we might have a little
Yeah.
story time with Jay.
But there was some interesting because obviously there was an old Necron warrior in that picture. There was a Kroak, like you say. I think it had like an Eldar pirate as well, but it had the hood, but it also had things like the enslavers, are they, or the
The
ensnarers?
Enslavers, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is there any old school races that people watching would like to see come back? Anonymous Rex says, bets on the third faction in Space Marine 2, mines on Necrons or Death Guard?
Death Guard. I think it will be chaos. Yeah, they always turn up, don't they, to ruin the day.
To ruin the
Necrons would
day.
be interesting though, wouldn't it, as well? But I think it was Orcs, wasn't it, in the first one, and then the Chaos Space Marines turned up. It would be nice to see a nice cast, some Eldar characters, an Inquisitor or two, that
Inquisitors
kind
are
of
never
thing.
nice.
No,
It's a shame
in
Dave's
terms,
not on, actually, because on Warcom this week, we've seen the Agents of the Imperium Codex, essentially, get
yeah,
rules. And that's something Dave's been waiting for, well, as long as I've known him. Do you think we'll see more stuff like that in 10th then, Jay? Like, because the Votan can be taken as allies for any Imperium army, can't they? Do you think we could see more, quote marks, regiments of renown style stuff?
I think there's a high possibility, but I don't know whether I like it or not.
Yeah,
I like armies being sort of unique, and I like the fact that Tau don't have any close combat units. That's their weakness, and I think if you can start allying in to cover weaknesses, I think you will. And I don't know whether you'll lose something by doing that, but I don't know. I don't. I mean, the idea of allying in an Inquisitor, I don't think an Inquisitor is a particularly powerful model or unit in the game. And I don't have any qualms about a Space Marine army including an Inquisitor, for example. You'd probably get more value out of including just a regular librarian in that environment. So it does allow you to build like a nice looking force and include some Imperial Guard and stuff like that,
yeah.
or some human auxiliaries. But yeah, I mean, regiments of renown. I think actually I would prefer to see sort of faction locked regiments. So a unique Eldar Corsair band that you can include in an Eldar army, or
That'd be cool.
Ultramarine Tyranid veterans to include in a
Space Marine army.
Space Marine army. Things like that.
Yeah,
I think I would
where
prefer
it
to
makes
see.
sense from a narrative point of view.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd like that. What do you think? Obviously, this week as well on Warcom, and everyone watching as well, let us know. We've seen Regiment of Renown coming back for Age of Sigmar too, and there's a number of
Oh
different
yeah, those
boxes
boxes.
that are
Yeah.
locked behind the same Grand Alliance. So you're not got the free for all that you'd worry about, in 40k. You've got like it's a Dwarf Lord and some Iron Blasters, are they called, Jay?
Iron Drakes.
Iron Drakes, who can be taken as a unique regiment that could join your, say, Sylvaneth or Stormcast.
Yeah. It's not something that really excites me, if I'm honest. I like, I think a unit of Iron Drakes will look a bit out of place in a Sylvaneth army. Even though in the old army book, actually, in the first edition, there was it the Iron Bark? I can't remember now what the name of the clan was, where you could take dispossessed allies in that, and the idea was that they lived side by side with each other.
Yeah, it was
Um,
like Allied faction, wasn't it?
yeah, I much prefer the regiments of renown for the old world, where they were unique units. Like that. I can't remember what they were, but the undead regiment that had like undead high elf spearman with an undead dwarf and undead orc. I can't remember what his name was, and the cap champion who led them.
Yeah. Oh, so it looks like my multi-stream chat's broken a little bit, so I might need to keep an eye. You need to keep an eye on Twitch for me, Jay. But over on YouTube, Tim Unwin says, "Do you think GW would change the law at the end of the Horus Heresy? Is it actually Horus sitting on the Golden Throne?" I think there's a very high possibility that lots of things that we know as truths in the Horus Heresy end up to be not so true. We've seen that
Yeah,
already,
well,
haven't we, Jay?
We have, and I don't want to say anything yet because obviously, Matt, you're still catching up. But when you get through Warhawk and you get through what comes after Warhawk, is it the Echoes of Eternity after Warhawk?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got 2 books to read. I'll come back in a couple of weeks, Matt, and we can discuss these theories because yeah, I think you're dead right. I don't think what we think will happen will actually happen. We'll have
Yeah.
to see. Anonymous Rex has just said the Rak Gal would be an awesome alien faction to flesh out one of the few Xenos hostile races not fleshed out. I don't know who they are, the Rak Gal. I've never heard of them.
The Rat Girl. Oh, I don't
Are
know.
they? They must be an alien that's in the 40k universe.
Potentially, yeah. Um, Waffles Enjoyer says Monster Apocalypse by Privateer Press is a kaiju type game.
Oh, is it?
Mm.
I know they've got a new version of War Machine out, which War Machine was a great game. I did enjoy War Machine. When I played
Yeah.
it, it was a while back I played it.
I
I've
never
got all
played
the
it, but
old
I
metal
think it's a
models.
miniatures. I had an army of like undead pirates. They were cool.
Yeah.
Uh, sorry, Waffles Enjoyer also says Metal Gear Solid skirmish game. And Shadowrun would be sweet. And what about Warcraft?
Oh, Warcraft miniatures game. Why has that not happened?
Yeah, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Why hasn't that happened?
Yeah,
I
you know
can't
what? It
understand.
surprises me that hasn't happened. To be fair, because it it is its own thing. Like, how cool would it be doing like a
A Scourge
Stormwind
army.
City army or a Scourge army?
Uh,
And like, even the
I mean,
orcs and stuff are unique in Warcraft, aren't they?
they are, yeah. And you could have like, you could have like a horde army with trolls and orcs and things, or you could have an army from Orgrimmar, you know, a proper alliance or an army of gnomes from Gnomeregan with mechs and things. What? Why? Surely someone needs to make that.
Waffles enjoy it. Stop writing to Blizzard. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Steve Harbour says a June miniatures game.
Oh yeah, with a big yeah, that would be cool with the ornithopters, aren't they, that float around, and
Yeah.
the I can't remember what the name of the shields are in the personal shields they wear. I
Timothy
mean,
Underwood.
June
Oh, sorry.
actually, the setting of June was, I think, inspired a bit of the 40k
Oh
setting,
yeah, I think
really,
it
didn't it?
inspired a lot of the 40k setting. Yeah. Timothy Underwood says there was a Babylon 5 space combat game which was fun to play. It didn't last long though. Is there a game based on the Stargate universe? I don't believe that there is a Stargate miniatures game. That'd be
No, I
cool
have
though.
seen some nice 3D prints of Stargate sort of models and things, though.
Yeah, well, that'd be cool. Anonymous Rex says, imagine nightmare spice pirates that raid Imperium ships. They look like a hybrid of xenomorphs and scorpions with cybernetic arm cannons. You had me at cybernetic arm cannons, Anonymous Rex.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, a nightmare space pirate. Sorry, we were talking June.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's the rack goal. Nightmare space pirates that look like xenomorphs mixed with scorpions and cybernetic arms. I mean, that does sound like an army I'd want to play.
Yeah. It sounds like what you might see for your Vash tour.
You might do, yeah. Oh, we're looking forward to Vashtor coming out as well, guys. I think that's another one, isn't it? The Dark Mechanicum. We've had a couple of models, haven't we? We've got two Horus Heresy models, both special characters. Arachnius Scoria, the big spider scorpion person, and the other one, I think you can build it as a generic like HQ choice, but it actually,
On the pulpit thing.
yeah, I forget what his name is.
They are, yeah, I can't remember what
But
the name is.
that's another technically Dark Mechanicum character. Traitor Mechanicum, where Arachnus Scoria is fully kind of like, yeah, Dark Mechanicum now, isn't he? And then for Blackstone Fortress, we had some Dark Mechanicum models as well, didn't we? Like
Oh, the
the
Electrite guys.
the I forget what they're called. Negavolt cultists, I want to say, and they were cool. So yeah, Vashtor is obviously quite a different look to them, and based on the lore in Arcs of Omen Abaddon, he creates the demon engines. He's got lots of cultist followers it does mention demons that he's got as well. So I don't know how they're going to do the rules for him when he comes out. With the box has been shown off as, what is it, Dark Angels versus Vashtor in
Yeah,
Flames, isn't it?
Azrael, isn't it? Yeah,
And that box has got a demon engine in it and some obliterators and some cultists. And yeah, technically that's Chaos Space Marines, but I don't think it's out of the question that they include those units in his book in the same way that the World Eaters, while a unique Chaos Space Marine faction, do currently have some units from the Chaos Space Marine book, if only to flesh out the force and give them a few more options.
yeah.
So, what would you like to see for Vashtor's faction if it does get fleshed out fully?
Um, I would like to see no mortals. I would like to see demons fused with machinery, even for your standard sort of infantry squad. And I would like to see that. I would like to see not just big demon engines. I would like to see demon engine drones. Maybe demons that
Yeah,
have been tricked into inhabiting the sort of bodies of just grunt infantry, and then they're shackled and bound in them. And like they're
yeah.
thinking, "Oh, why am I tied to such a weak frame?" And it drives them insane.
You
Um,
know what, that'd work like from a lore point of view as well, because Vashtor, he's not a Chaos God, but he wants to be a Chaos God. And not being a Chaos God, he technically hasn't got any lesser demons. What if he does that? What if he just tricks demons and binds them to mechanical forms?
yeah,
And they're basically his like demonic cyber slaves. It's a different kind of vibe, isn't it?
yeah, I think that would be cool.
Um, Anonymous Rex says, did the spider tank from the Chaos Stock collecting come out individually yet? Um,
Oh,
Pass. I don't think it has. I don't think it has. Whether it was a direct only order, and I think you can get him in the obliterators, maybe. Um, I forget. There's so many kits like that which don't actually
like
exist. It's like the Space
the
Marine ones.
suppressors
So it
with the
wouldn't surprise
autocannons.
me
Yeah,
if we are getting a new wave of Space Marine stuff. Which, let's face it, we've got the new box up for pre-order next week, and presumably the rules for them will be in a book of some description. It wouldn't surprise me if these suppressors come out for them. Anonymous Rex says wire wolves would be Vashtor adjacent. Wire wolves. What are wire wolves?
I assume they're like werewolves, but
Yeah, like techno.
m- yeah, maybe every month they turn into a robot.
You know what? It would be cool, like a cyber fleshhound kind of unit, like a fast cavalry or something.
Yeah,
I mean, there's lots of weird, freaky stuff they can do with Vashtor, isn't there?
well, he is a weird, freakish thing.
He has got a creepy looking model.
I want to see Exodites.
Yeah. So if we could have one new race in 10th edition, would that be your kind of hope
Yeah,
then,
it would
Exodites?
be. Yeah,
What about everyone else? What everyone in the chat like to see? I mean, I'm biased, aren't I? But it's got to be my boy Vashtor. Him getting a full kind of fleshed out faction to go with them. Over on YouTube, Scott Baker says cynics might say that the Regiments of Renown is simply a pretext to shift stock, but I think it's a cool way of injecting diversity and game balance into the meta. That is another way of looking about it. With the new way of them doing seasons and stuff. Unfortunately, sometimes some armies, we talked about this earlier in the show, some armies are at a bit of a disadvantage because they just simply haven't got the units to deal with that.
yeah.
But then are we going too far to the other extreme of giving everybody access to the kind of like tool pieces they need to do that? I don't know. I mean, one of the things all depends on point costs as well, and obviously they don't get advantage of all your kind of army rules as well, do they?
No, that's true. I mean, for me, it's not from a competitive point of view. I look at it. I just think, if I'm building an army, and I've got a color scheme, and an idea of character, and then I have, I've got a unit of things that just don't look right in the army. Dwarfs march into battle alongside dryads. just doesn't appeal to me in that regard. So I wouldn't build an army that takes advantage of that.
What about dwarfs marching to war alongside friends, Jay?
Well, yeah, that's it.
to butcher a Lord of the Rings quote. Yeah, Anonymous Rex says it's similar to the Broken Realms boxes. Yeah, the Broken Realms boxes were very much a value box, weren't they? Yes, they had some rules, but outside of the Broken Realms, I don't think anyone would have taken those units again. They just bought them for the discount on the models. So maybe that is the situation we're seeing with these Regiments of Renown boxes. Like, are those dwarves still competitive in the game, Jay? I don't even know.
I'm not sure. I think Iron Drakes are still pretty good. I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, I've not played Age of Sigmar in a while. I'm not up to date with the with what's strong and what's not in the new setting.
I suppose the danger is, isn't it? Given, I don't know. Let's think of have we got any order armies without any ranged weapons?
Yeah, that's it, and that's what I don't like. It like you know that army has a weakness for a reason,
Yeah.
and then if you're just able to shore it up, then I can think of like units like Luminef with cheap access to troops rather than their elite infantry and that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
that's a whole thing. So, but I don't know. I'm not that into the match play element of it to know
No.
whether it'll be a problem or not.
This thematic box does something really cool. There's one that contains basically one of each of the war crime monsters. So the weird, freaky psychic cat thing,
Oh yeah,
and
the
the
Sphinx
Ogroid
thing. Yeah,
characters. I'll be picking
yeah.
that up from a Slaves of Darkness who just build as the units they're meant to be.
A menagerie of weird chaos beasts.
But
Yeah,
something like that, like thematic, like the Beasts of Chaos, for example, thematically they would fit in nicely, wouldn't they?
they would. Yeah,
Though maybe a Khorne army, would they necessarily fit? The cat's got something of the Tzeentch about it.
the cat doesn't look very corny.
It doesn't look very corny. Waffles Enjoyer says plastic costs almost nothing for Games Workshop. I reckon it'd be cheaper to just toss excess sprues than to make new boxes and create new SKUs to distribute. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the boxes, the artwork, and all the packaging and stuff is often more expensive than the miniatures. So they don't do anything just for the sake of doing it. Yeah, I don't think that Games Workshop tend to sit on a load of unsold stuff as well. I think they're probably quite clever with like stock allocation and stuff. I mean, we see that from how many things like kind of go out of stock.
This is true.
I imagine there's people with insight into how this is a boring answer, but insight into how quick stock moves and when to print stock and maybe in the run up to a new edition, do they blast a load of Space Marine kits that they think are going to sell well? I don't know. I suspect so. This green's looking okay, Joe. I don't know if you can see there.
So a nose.
But that's starting to look suitably venomous. Possibly
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah,
just a subtle green, not too
yeah.
overbearing. He's nearly
It's
there
looking good. The
now.
bone looks good as well. Yeah, I like the bone against
So
the
the
blue and the
bone
red.
is the two thin coats triad.
Oh, very good.
So I might put a wash into the recesses on the red because I think the darker areas, the red areas, just need to be a bit darker in the recesses. But other than that, I think we're nearly done on him, which is cool. So these guys are playing against Dave on Tuesday with our local club night, and these Tyranids are going to be facing off against the Astra Militarum, which will be interesting. I need to have some like psychological tricks to use against Dave and throw him. I suspect he's not going to let my Carnifex live long enough to rip his beautiful new Rogel Dawn apart.
The
And
Rogel Dawn.
if I do manage to kill it, I suspect Dave would not be very happy with me if I did kill his beautiful Rogel Dawn.
Let him at least fire it once.
I'll let him fire it once. And then it's getting ripped apart. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I've not played Tyranids since 2nd edition. Oh no, I have. I did have an army.
You had a
7th
a
edition.
really nice shiny black army. I remember.
Yeah. Hive Fleet. What did I call it? Hive Fleet Nostromo.
Yeah.
Alien inspired. So yeah, that was 7th edition, which was a weird time because that's the edition that Heresy is based on, isn't it?
Yes, loosely. Yeah.
And you had the situation where some units might not be able to hurt other units, which your Wraith Knights. Is it Wraith Knights? Wraith Lords? Whichever the little ones are. They
The
were in a
Wraith
funny
Guard.
position, weren't they? Where certain units wouldn't be able to hurt them because they were too tough.
The Wraith Lords you're on about there. Yeah, they were
Lords,
toughness 8. Yeah, so you needed at least strength 5 to hit them, and they were that was the sort of edge they had over Dreadnoughts because you could obviously Dreadnoughts had armor values, whereas Wraith Lords, which were the Eldar equivalent of Dreadnoughts, they had a wounds and toughness, which made them a bit more resilient than Dreadnoughts because obviously if you got a bolt pistol into the back of a Dreadnought's rear armor, you could nobble it, whereas the Wraith Lord was immune to it.
It's funny how kind of stuff like that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I like that. That was just a nice bit of, distinguish the different factions and things. It's just a bit of flavour.
Yeah, is that something you'd like to see? I mean, going by the rumours, I don't think that's anything at all we're going to see in the next edition of the game. But would you like to see certain units only be able to hurt certain units? Like Grots in combat, should they be able to even scratch a tank?
What I'd like to see is no, I wouldn't like a Grot to be able to damage a tank. And at the moment, like you say, 6 is wound. And to me, a unit of 10 intercessors can charge into any tank in the game and they'll probably kill it in combat.
Just on weight attacks.
Just on weight on dice. So they only need 6s. And there's so many ways nowadays to reroll hits, reroll wounds, +1 to wounds, reduce the... and I think that's daft. I would like there to be... And I think that one of the rumours is this sort of potentially a toughness value for certain vehicles or certain units which might be as well. But I certainly would like to see a strength 4 attack shouldn't be able to damage a vehicle, in my opinion. No. So there should be some rule in there which prevents a strength 4 attack from damaging a vehicle. How you sort of the mechanics behind that, I don't know, but
it's a funny one, isn't it? It's
you
don't want to go too complex and over the top that it takes you 4 hours to play a game.
No, you're right.
There needs to be, I don't know. I'm sure that they've cooked up something awesome. Yeah. I'm also sure there'll be a lot of outrage on the internet. Because it's the internet. Everyone watching at home, what would your dream things for the 10th edition of 40k be? And in fact, on that, we're painting some Age of Sigmar on here as well. What developments would you like to see for AOSJ? Either in a future General's Handbook or... ultimately, we're probably not too far off now. Next year or two, 4th edition Age of Sigmar.
Right. Well, I can tell you what I want to see on Age of Sigmar. I want to see a proper dwarf faction. I want to see the Dispossessed come back.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Proper plated up with Grumrill armor, cannons, war machines, golems. The Dispossessed, I love them, but they don't cut it. Not compared to some of the awesome Age of Sigmar kits we get nowadays.
Do you think we'll see any dwarfs in the Dawnbringer Crusades?
I think we might. Yeah, I do, and that's going to be interesting to see that as well. Especially if you can create an army of just that faction. I don't know if that. I don't get the impression the Dawnbreaker Crusades are going to be a book that lets you do that, but I do think you'll have units of elves and units of dwarfs in there, very much like we were talking about Warcraft before, an Alliance Stormwind type, the Alliance type army. I think that could be really, really cool. Yeah. But I would like to see a proper dwarf, like we've got the elves, we've got the Fire Slayers, and we've got the Caradrons. We need the proper Dispossessed to go out there and start reclaiming some Carracks.
Yeah, because we've got the Slayer kind of vibe. and the Caradrons were technically a new dwarf faction,
Yeah.
but then there's nothing there for the people who like the massed kind of plate armor dwarfs, is there?
No.
It's all very much kind of aircraft and guns, isn't it?
Yeah, they have their own distinct sort of feel. There's none of this sort. Well, there is a bit of ancestor veneration. I mean, really, it's what they've done with the Leagues of Votan. That's the kind of dwarf army I'd like to see, but in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. Like you say, the golems and stuff, it'd work really well in Age of Sigmar because that's suddenly a big like monster unit you can have for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I mean, I guess the problem is for all the games, how many factions they've got, and like how can they maintain all those different armies? It wouldn't surprise me if we saw some kind of like consolidated together. Like we did, we technically got a new Orc army in the Cruel Boys, but it was part of a new Uruk Warclans book, which then let you
Yeah.
build like 4 different types of army. And Honest Rex says, with Gotrek going around trying to bring back the old ways, there's always hope. Yeah, and we've also got Grungni,
Grungni.
is it? Who's
Yeah.
back in the fold and trying to reunite the dwarfs as well.
Yeah, and he's like the maker god for the dwarfs. So you've got Grimnir, who is he's more of the slayer sort of, and you've got but Grungni is the sort of dwarf that I like. He's the maker, the engineer, your sort of traditional dwarf. And I mean, I don't know what the current, because I mean it's a long time since we had the old world, and what was the thing that the end times, wasn't it?
The end
And I
times,
think
yeah.
there was some story art with Valea, who is the third dwarven god, and I don't know what she's up to. I'm not sure if she's been held captive in the Gardens of Nurgle, or if that's a different god altogether. I can't remember now. I'll have to go back and read what the storyline was. But yeah, Valea and Grungni, it would be great to see them come back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you say, Grungni has come back, hasn't he? And he's loosely sort of allied with Sigmar, but I think didn't he build him and Malarian built the gladiator arena pit, wasn't it? Or the mechanism for the Stormcast to be reincarnated or something.
So Grungni,
Yeah.
he created the Anvil of Apotheosis to
That's
put the souls into the Stormcast, and he also designed the Storm Strike armor on all the stuff from the recent Stormcast kind of launch. All that is designed by your favourite dwarf.
Yeah, I mean, here's my favourite dwarf model ever. I've got him down here. Let me reach over. This is a metal model as well, Matt. I know we were talking about metal models, so let me get him into focus for you if you can see him.
It is a nice model, isn't it?
I think it's what's his name? Diaz. Same guy did
Juan Diaz, who did the DMX and stuff.
He sculpted this one. This is my favourite dwarf. This was the original Grimbolt Boulder Balls.
Grimbolt Balls. So do you want to tell the chat a little bit of the history of Grimbolt Boulder Balls? Because he's got many ancestors, and he's appeared in many of our games and battle reports over the years.
Grimbolt Boulder Balls, yeah. So he first appeared. Oh, I must have my book of grudges down here somewhere. Actually, I'm surprised I didn't take it to the game the other night. Where is it? Oh, could I give you some? Right, bear with me 2 seconds. Let me just wash my brush off. I can regale you with some tales of Grimbolt Boulder Balls as recorded in the Book of Grudges. Let's have a look.
So Jay, over his years playing Warhammer, and an avid dwarf player, that's again been picked up with the Leagues of Votan and stuff. Jay has kept a Book of Grudges to record all the insults and slights and defeats that he's had over the years, chronicling them so that one day he can get his revenge. Which is
I never get my revenge.
Yeah, never get his revenge. Which is an awesome idea, and I wholeheartedly stole the kind of idea when I did my little kind of narrative book for my Night Haunt for the Path to Glory event.
Oh yeah, you did. You had the
diary of I
what was
her
the name?
Was now. I forgot
Yuri something, wasn't it?
Yurishi.
Yurishi, that's it. Oh, I can't find me, but where have I put that now? Scratching my head because it must be in here, this room somewhere, because I've not taken anything upstairs.
Well, maybe again next time.
That's it. Yeah, I'll have to bring it on next time.
We'll have story time and go through some of them.
Yeah, well, you're right, because I record all the sort of jewels they've had and Oh, hang on, are we in here? Maybe it's in here.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Maybe it's in here.
A little treat
It
for the
is. I
end of the
found it.
stream.
Woohoo!
Amazing. Anonymous Rex, while we're just looking for that, says Grom Brindle got an AOS book as well. The White Dwarf.
Oh, the White Dwarf. Yeah.
So, the stars were aligning. We've got all these dwarves back in Age of Sigmar. We've got a Go-Trek model. Grom Brindle. A new model for the White Dwarf to be called, because we got we got a White Dwarf model, but it was just the Slayer in
Yeah,
different coloured pants, wasn't it?
it was. Yeah. I mean, there have been some Grombindle models released as like special limited edition versions, haven't they? The White Dwarfs and
Yeah.
things. Um, but yeah, he was a. I think actually the best. The Go-Trek model is actually more impressive than the Grombrindle, the official Grombrindle model.
Yeah, I like the
So
Go-Trek
yeah,
model.
this is the Book of Grudges here. So I mean, the first entry goes back 2014, the 21st of the second, 2014. And I suspect this was something to do with Matt. So let's have a look. You're in here a lot, Matt.
I am in here a
So
lot, unfortunately.
this was this wasn't Grimbolt Boulder. Oh well, no, hang on. Yes, I remember now because Grimbolt Boulder Balls was my dwarf lord, but obviously I had lots of Thanes and unit champions, and I named them all. And quite often they were the ones that died, and it was Grimbolt that was writing the record down in here. So we've got on the 21st of February. So what was that? Almost. What's that? Almost 7. No, 6, 9 years ago to the day, Matt.
9 years ago to the day. That's amazing.
Let it be known that on this day did Ungrim Iron Fist fall into darkness. Oh, Ungrim Iron Fist, he was my Slayer character. Fall into darkness while facing down a vile bloodthirster of corn. Will
Sound like
she not
me.
rest until this beast is slain by my own axe? So seems Grimbolt Boulder Balls.
Was the beast ever slain, Jay, or did he fall many more dwarfs?
Um, no, he was never. And I think that actually probably was your exalted bloodthirster, wasn't it? You're probably in here again. Here we go. Festus Gobblewart. Oh no, this was my brother Skaven. So on this day, Alrek Greyhammer and his Ironbreakers were laid low by the vile sorcerers of the cursed Skaven seer known as Festus Gobblewart. I will smash his skull beneath my boot and slaughter 100 of his vile brethren. In Alric's name, so sees Grimbolt Boulder Balls. Oh, this was a good one, Matt. This was a good one. This was the 4th of April 2014, and I remember this one. This was a Triumph and Treachery game. On this day, did the treacherous Elgi, led by the despicable Nellian Theatrim, this was one of Dave's high elves, showed their true and fickle and cowardly nature by siding with the nefarious chaos demons and aiding in the slaughter of the brave Longbeards of Alric Durrickson. To add insult, the foul magics released by the demons laid low the fearless Rogni Ragnarsson. 100 Elgi heads and the head of the blasted Elgi mage are demanded as recompense. So says Grimbolt Boulder Balls.
Treacherous. Is that the start of Treacherous Dave?
Treacherous Dave. I think he was. I remember that game. I remember that one. I'm sure he used some. What were they called? Were they triumphs where they could use?
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I mean, we're 3 minutes off the end of the stream now, but I think next time maybe you should have a reminisce about Triumph and Treachery, because that still is one of my favourite systems from GW. It was
Yeah,
so
we had
good.
so much fun, didn't we? So much fun. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to playing the old world again, so we can sort of play those games again. It
Yeah,
worked really well, didn't it?
it did, and it is easily moddable to current games, but you just need a bit of fudging, don't you? We've played games using the pretty much as it comes rule pack. You just need, obviously, some of the concepts and mechanics were a little bit different in the current game, aren't they?
Yeah,
But it was
yeah,
cool just having you kind of like, you had your cash, didn't you, that you spent on do, you could bribe people with. That was also your victory point, but you could also have like your, I think, what they called triumphs, I forget, the cards that you drew.
yeah. You had a hand of it, and the person who was losing got some extra ones. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit of a balancing mechanic, which then
yeah.
meant that they would immediately betray everybody. Oh, it was fun. Alas, we're
Eh,
coming up to the last few minutes of the stream, though. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Jay?
I was just going to say, yeah, Anonymous Rex just pointed out, did we play one of the guys from Lookout Sir at the AOS Path to Glory event?
I don't
It was,
believe we did. I don't believe we did. He says he mentioned getting your curse card from you. So the curse kind of mechanics was something I was going to do for my Path to Glory, but I ran out of time.
yeah, I know.
So unfortunately, I didn't do it. So I don't think it was me, sadly. It was an
I know
amazing event, though. You didn't get to go, did you, Jay?
No, I didn't get to go to that one, but I am looking forward to the next one. And hopefully, that I'll be taking the lizard men to the next one as well
That'd
with
be
a
cool.
sort of reinvigorated Age of Sigmar type experience for me.
Yeah, you should have a game of the new battle packs.
Yes.
The focus on like support heroes, which I feel would be quite good for the Seraphon as well. You've got a lot of kind of on foot low wound heroes, haven't you?
Yeah, you have like the skink priests and chieftains and things.
Yeah, so that could be something. But unfortunately, we're coming up to the end of the stream, so I've very nearly finished this Hive Tyrant. We've got the majority of the colours down on him now. Like I say, I might go in with a wash on the red skin just to make the recesses a little bit darker, but I'm happy with the bone, I'm happy with the kind of venom cannon, and I'm just kind of blocking out the base. I'll stick some sand on it, give that a bit of a dry brush, and then I'm going snow bases on these, Jay. I think 'cause
Oh,
that'll stand
nice.
out against the red and the blue and kind of make them
That'll
stand
look
out a bit.
really, really nice. Yeah, they will. I've got snow bases on my Leagues of Botan. I can give you a really, really simple sort of trick for them as
Oh, that'd
well.
be
So they
awesome.
look
That'd be
nice. Yeah.
awesome. How are you getting on with yours, Jay?
Yeah, so I've got the base color down on the brown, so I've used the two thin coats equivalent, which is da, 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 I can't see it on here now. What is it?
The
I've
brown
got it. I've got it here. I've got it
equivalent
here. Scorched earth. Scorched
scorched
earth is it?
earth.
Yeah. So that's gone down on the vines, and what I will do is I'll build the edges up with some greens as well, but it's just the base color down now. And what I'm working on now is the jade, and I'm experimenting a bit with the jade. So I've used the base of Cabalite green. Unfortunately, there's no
Hmm.
triad in the Tooth and Coats range yet for these kind of greens. And then I've washed it with Colia green shade, and I've tried to build up sort of patterns of dark green on the model, but I'm now going back with the Cabalite green over the top
Hmm.
just to smooth it out, and then I'll start highlighting it up with the, like you say, with the dark Eldar greens to get to this jade color. I think I'm going to have to put some sort of turquoise wash, maybe an aphometic blue over the top of it to finish it off. But we'll see. Like I say, I'm experimenting a bit really with it, but I'm quite happy with how it's coming along.
Awesome, that's really cool. Well, hope everyone's enjoyed the stream. Just seeing over on YouTube, Andy Dodgy Roller is in the chat.
Hey, Andy.
Um, so yeah, hopefully we'll be back next week to join us alongside Dave. But yeah, it's been a really fun stream. We'll be back next week as ever. A couple of shout outs. Massive thanks to Two Thin Coats for sending us a majority of the paints that we've used on the stream. There's also been a selection of GW ones on there, but I've been mostly using Two Thin Coats at the minute. And also, as mentioned earlier, if you would like to support the site, head on over to spruesandbrews.com and use the Element Games affiliate links. That way you help us create content like this. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel. I believe we've got some fun stuff coming this week, such as our Soul Shackle unboxing and the throw this up there, the jet bikes for the Horus Heresy as well. The unboxing for them should be up Monday, Tuesday as well, and hopefully by the end of the week we might even see this Crusade campaign episode 1 from
Oh, so much
Dave.
fun filming
I'm
that battle report.
really excited to watch this myself because I'm not editing this one, so it's going to be a surprise when I watch it. But yeah, I hope you all join us again next week. If you have enjoyed this, why not follow/subscribe to us either on Twitch or YouTube. We do this every week, 7 till 9 on a Sunday. And you know what? I think we might do some battles on here as well in the future, Jay. If we can get a
Yeah, that'd be
day where
cool.
we're all free and stream it on the table. But yeah,
Yep.
until next time, have an amazing time.